Things are not cool anymore. A lesson of going forward. My wife and I have been married for 8 years. We have 3 beautiful children. 4 years ago, she had been lying to me about my business, telling me we had money but the business collapsed and we were broke, with 3 kids. She ignored me and left to her mother's, blaming me for the failure. Over 6 months we reconciled and became closer. I started a new business. I started hiding money and she was finding it and using it. Then a safe and she found the code. Meanwhile, I was harboring resentment. I was thinking how dangerous she could be to my family. She left us on the street when the business collapsed. She never could tell me truth, but I held on, trying to make it work. I was not happy, but I love her. Well, 5 days ago she told me to leave and wanted separating. I did, but I am so heartbroken and my kids are devastated. I am falling apart and breaking down. Don't know what to do. She has been my life for 12 years. Now she has befriended this girl whose husband left her 3 months ago. Out of the blue. And they are spending every minute of time together. I think she is seeing someone else, but she denies it. How do I hang on? I'm still here and hanging on. I saw her tonight for the kids and I took a good look and thought, why I am making myself sick over this woman. She has more issues than Sports Illustrated, terrible childhood, weight issues, self-esteem, and she needs help. Never gets it, and I'm suffering because of this. It's not right. She continued to take money without telling me what was for. As for her friend, I already thought of that. It's funny you said that she had a red rose from her friend in her car, and on FB she said, I love you. Does this really happen? What do you think? My wife and I have been separated for 3 weeks now. We haven't cleared the air till tonight. But first, after separated from me, she began hanging out with her best friend, whose husband left her 5 months ago with 3 children. Both went out and got tattoos together and tongue rings. Then I saw flowers in my wife's car and she said they were from her friend. Next thing I know, she seems to be spending overnights at her friend's house with all 6 kids. And my oldest confirmed this. Every time I text her, she over her friend's house. Her friend posted I love you on Facebook. Tonight, however, we finally spoke calmly and I asked her if she was seeing anyone and she said yes, she was interested in someone else. She then said, I'm a lesbian, and began to laugh. I said, really? And she said, no, I'm kidding, but that it's a guy she met at her work. I asked what he did, big hospital, and she would not answer me. She would not give me any info, and they were just dating. She would not even tell me what he did at the hospital. She said it was nice to be appreciated again and I hadn't shown that in a while. We agreed to divorce and I'm heartbroken. I'm going to lawyer tomorrow. She said she didn't want anything from me but some money to help her with children. No court bull. My life is crushed, but I'm wondering if there is really no guy but her best friend. I can't believe how in a matter of days your life can go from routine to pure hell. Does anybody feel this? I still am having trouble holding on. I saw my babies. We went to eat and I bought them toys. I could tell my wife ran off quick to be with someone. She came back disheveled. I am so heartbroken. How could she do this? I realize now love her even though she has made my life hell since we met. Why do I love her? I'm alone drinking now and I feel it may be the last time I may see them. My pain. So great. I have made it through another day. Today was hard because all I kept feeling was jealousy all day. Knowing someone is touching my wife, and I could see it in her last night when I picked up the kids. How could she be with someone else? We used to be so intimate and loving. I want to know who this person is and yet I don't. I'm still having trouble seeing my kids. It's heartbreaking. The pain is bad but in a different way. It's deeper. I didn't cry today, but the jealousy is eating at me. Now I'm trying to figure out tactics. Like my ex-wife still goes to the bank to deposit the business money. I feel like I should let her because she has not asked for any money for the bills or kids. But then I feel like I should shut her off and change the account. She acts like there is nothing wrong, like we're still together. Hi, do you have any deposits? She is still watching the account every day to make sure I can operate, because it fluctuates quickly. She asks me if I bought boat yet, and if I called mediator. As if she's seeing where we stand. Had a bad start to today because I keep having those dreams. They come and go. My emotions are like a roller coaster. I haven't seen or heard from my wife or kids in 4 full days. They went to NYC but no call or anything. Things are going to change big time. There is so much time distance now from my kids. My wife is a freak. Thinks she have decency to communicate in some way at least. It wasn't more than a month ago we were a family. Now total alienation. I'm really beginning to believe my wife has a serious mental disorder or personality disorder. I know she was already a head case, but this is really frightening. I asked her outright if she was seeing someone and she said she was. That he worked with her. I knew our love was dying. We hadn't been intimate in a year. After I found out she was sneaking into the safe somehow. I really didn't want to touch her. She had lied to me so many times. I still don't think I ever forgave her for wrecking my other business. As bad as things were, we still were a family, and we still had fun together. For her to just find someone else and brush me away is devastating. There was never a gambling problem, but she did have a shopping problem. What's ironic is I thought I would leave her first, yet when she left, I crashed and burned. Why is it I don't understand myself? I'm having such a bad day. Can't stop crying. There is no hope. Things seem to be getting darker. Nothing's changing. I'm so detached now from my family. I've never been without them for so long. I'm so lonely. I swear there is no way out of this, no way. I can't even face the kids now. It'll fall apart. This is not getting better. I don't know what to do. Well, I may be entering another stage of this ordeal. My wife got back from New York City and I spoke with kids. My wife looks very unhappy and is smoking like a chimney. I have her car to fix it and it's a disaster. Stinks, dirty, and she always kept it perfect. She works at a salon next to my shop and I see her almost every day, but we hardly talk at all. She is so standoffish. She seems to have a huge wall, but we don't even talk about the kids or anything. It's like she's mad at me, but she's the one who wanted the separation. She doesn't bring up anything. What we're going to do. How much does she need? Nothing. She heard my deal on the boat didn't go through and she was curious about that. She knows I am going to live on it. Her behavior is so strange. I'm having a tough day today. Seems like Sundays are hard. I'm not doing well. I took the kids this morning and dropped them off at the house. My wife said she was out, I suppose with the other guy, and she wasn't home when I got there. My mother-in-law took the kids in and I left. I really just don't know if I can do it. Now I'm thinking about paying her support, running this business, and living. It's going to be too much on me financially and emotionally. I still miss my wife, or my life. I'm trying to take care of myself, but sometimes I want to end it all. So depressed, I took the kids trick-or-treating, and when we got back, I saw my neighbors. They told me this guy has been taking my children for walks and raking up the yard, fixing the fence. He is sometimes staying there. I confronted my wife. She told me his name and that he was nice. I told her I wasn't comfortable with him with my children like that. She got defensive and said she didn't think it was going to be serious, but someone showed me affection. My neighbors would even talk to this guy. They left the party they were. They said my wife was running home crying, left the guy at the party for 2 hours. No reason I know. My wife is being ostracized by everyone because I am prominent in the community as a business owner. No, the cops. Then I talked with her and told her if he is nice. I'm happy for her, but I don't know him and know the idea of him taking my girls for a walk alone. What the hell? Then I told her that I could get a court injunction to protect my children. She said don't threaten me with court. But in between we talked about how we still care about each other and that we could fall in love again someday. Bull crap. We even hugged and kissed. Then I got pissed and said I did not want this guy walking with my kids alone. Oh, she came into shop today and asked me for $1,000 because she screwed herself again with money. I wrote a check and put on the check child support for November to cover my $250 a week. She cried, said, why do I have to write child support? What the hell? Then my babies called me after I left tonight crying for me to come home. Someone help me. I'm really getting crazy now. Now I feel like taking her to court and pulling her apart by the legal system. My poor children, help me. I'm losing it. What kind of mother would let a new guy take my children for walks alone? My children, my God, my children, they called me crying for me to come home. They need me. My oldest has severe emotional problems that I can only understand. Help me. I think my wife now is an absolute psycho, letting my kids walk with this guy alone. I can't stand her. I don't give a crap about the other man. I gave her the house and don't care. She cannot afford it and will lose it. He is a ducking child and will leave. My concern is for the safety of my children, and I will do whatever it takes to do so. At this point, I don't give a crap about her, as she is damaging my children's emotional stability. She is an unstable, detrimental, and malicious human being, obviously out of her mind. And if I can see it, the judge will see it too. Don't think mothers always win. They don't, and if you read what her behavior has been till now, you will see, as I have documented everything she has said. And the children want to be with me from their own mouths. Found the guy with my wife was a convicted felon. I had him picked up by the police. He also put his hands on my daughter's arm while he was living there. I took kids away to my brother's, she admitting to knowing he was a felon and had active warrants, yet she allowed them to be around my kids. Now I have to go to court. Can you believe this? I have kids in the house. She is still in hospital. I just found out today that a friend of mine caught her sleeping with one of my employees 4 years ago on the desk in the office. It never ends with this woman. She is unbelievable. Lies. Our whole marriage was a bunch of lies. He felt horrible and yelled at her, but I guess she talked him out of telling me. He felt bad. It's her that has defied our marriage, and now she used to hide the mail from me, but I'm getting it now. Credit cards with my name that I never applied for. Balances. Should I use these in court? Days later. Well, here I am, and then raising the kids alone. Mother-in-law moved out. I'm doing the best I can, but it's so hard. I can hardly get to work and the shop is suffering. I can't afford this house. No way by myself now. I'm thinking about the future. And why do I still miss my ex? I don't understand myself. Is this codependency? I could hardly stand her when we were together, then she went over the deep end with the guy moving, and she is a big loser. What is the matter with me? I called her today to see if she wanted to see the kids, and she knew I was going to call her, and she never answered and never returned the call. She looks like a mess since her ex attempt. But Bandit, I have not had feelings of happiness and love with her in a while. She always lied to me. How do you love someone like that? Tell me how. I'm starting to let my wife go emotionally. I actually feel bad how down and out she is. No money. She has moved out of her friends because children's services want to go in and her friend doesn't want her there. And on top of it, she has no kids. She has dug herself into a deep trench she cannot get out of. I have successfully obtained everything. The kids, the house, my business, and the money. She was begging me for money to get an apartment, but I said no. I have a high-powered attorney as well on my side. My wife saw the court lawyer and he said she was screwed. You make your bed and you lay in it and karma can bite you in the back. I have also met someone nice, but I'm going very slow as this has only been a couple of months since all this happened. This is the new me. Lies and deception lose in the end, and what is right always wins. God has amazing ways of doing things, and it has been done in front of my eyes. A week later, my wife remains living at her friend's. I have not given her any more money. I have let her see children, but she does not often. I believe she may be back with that scumbag, but not sure. She chose a dirtbag over her children. Can you imagine? Her mother and her began to undermine me, telling kids stuff, and wife told my oldest she could stay home from school and spend it with mommy without asking me. I gave her an opportunity to be with children, but her mood swings and behavior are extreme, and if she is with this loser, I don't want children seeing her. I told her that I tried, but she is undermining me and that she needs to contact my attorney from now on. Her mother then texted me, stop using these beautiful children as pawns. It's disgusting. I told her off and not to call or text me again. I'm building a fortress around my family cause I do not know what they are capable of. Mother is a drunk, wife is mentally unstable, maybe on meds, and a terrible boyfriend are a bad mix of people, but I do not fear any of them. I hold all the cards now. My priority is my children who are damaged by all this. My little Sydney used to cry and ask when I was coming home on the phone while I was living at the shop. Well, I'm home now. She never asks for her mother. How sad is that? I once thought I would grow old with this woman and raise these kids through college with my wife, see them marry and have kids, and grow old with my wife. Well, this didn't happen. I really lost love for my wife after she put me in that $700,000 bankruptcy. She hurt me beyond repair, and I should have left. Then my feeling after that 4 years ago were only codependent feelings, not real love. You can't love someone who lies to you constantly. Please remember that. Don't try to convince yourself otherwise. By the way, I talked about karma before. Well, it continues to pile up on her. They were going to repossess the car and her engine blew on the highway. State police towed it, $400 to get it out. She is behind $800 and the engine cost $2,000 and she owes $7,000. No car, no kids, no home, no money. What else will continue to come out of the universe to haunt her for her sick choices she made? What else? A month later, I actually forget how bad I felt as I feel 100% now, but I just read my posts and I want to cry. Never dreamed of the outcome. Kids are doing good, just learning to be a mom and dad at the same time. Laundry is the hardest part. 3 kids, the house, and running the business is keeping me busy, as you might imagine. The wife filed a motion 2 weeks ago for custody already. Went to court and she looked like a fool. Motion was denied. I realize how truly sick she is just because she filed 2 months after major breakdown. I keep moving ahead, but dealing with her is frustrating. I've let her have visits, but she came yesterday with her mother and it was very uncomfortable. I felt I was outnumbered and trapped. Now she wants to visit them on Christmas morning with her mother and I don't know what to do. She is unstable and so is her mother, and I know they would like to see me gone. For some unknown reason, this is all my fault. Not hers, my fault. I somehow caused her to cheat, move a criminal in my bed, use my credit cards, touch my kids, use meds and try to X herself. It's all my fault. They have themselves convinced. A week later, I have been allowing the ex to visit, but she wants unsupervised. We have a child support hearing coming up in Feb. So, I saw that a pic of my children and ex was on the criminal, who took over my home, Facebook, which by way his FB is disgusting meds and videos, so I asked her to remove it. Now she has denied that she has been with him, including to the judge. After I text her, I got a response from her phone saying that I will post anything the duck I want. Duck you. You a loser. So that appeared to be him. I cut communication. Then the next morning she texts me saying she had forwarded it to me, but I did not see a forward message. What do you think? She's still with him? If so, should she see kids at all? Help me guys, not sure. She did call today and I hung up on her immediately. She called back 12 times in 5 minutes. Must be angry. I did call Department of Children for advice but couldn't get hold of anyone. Recap. In short, My PTA wife and I separated. She moved a dirty guy into home 2 weeks later. I had him handed to the cops. She tried to commit X. I got custody of children and house. She asked to come home. I said no. She moved into friend's house and I thought she might have hooked back up with the loser. Well, she had visit with kids and wanted to drive them to McDonald's. I put kids in car and all I could smell was the meds, so I pulled kids back out and put them in my car. She denied being with him and denied the smell. I told her I wasn't stupid and she finally admitted it. She previously told me she was only talking with him. I drove away and she texted me saying she needed help and wanted to make big changes in her life and get rid of him. I met her today at Donut Shop and she said she wanted her old life back, and she didn't know why she could never tell the truth. She said there was something wrong with her and she needed help. So, what do I do here? I'm scared. She is a compulsive liar and chose some loser over her children, her house, her dog, her lifestyle, everything. I'm so confused. Do I help her? Do I let her come back or should I let her be to suffer? She has put me through hell twice in the last 5 years. Ruined a business I had and now this, yet I have always been there for her. Do you think she is way too volatile to be with? It's hard raising 3 kids alone too, 6 and 8. Is this woman dangerous? 2 months later. This ride has taken so many turns and I won't be able to tell you why I make some of my decisions, but I'm truly living on a prayer and a hunch. It might be helpful to some and hurtful to others, but educational to all. After we dropped the lawyers, my daughter still remained at the hospital. My wife and I took a day off to go see her and the poor little thing was having such a hard time it was breaking my heart. If you read my last posts, I was running out of steam from everything, exhausted. After seeing her, my wife and I went to eat and talk. Well, that turned into a physical meeting, yes, a romantically physical meeting, don't ask. And the next thing you know I pulled my daughter out of the hospital and we are all on our way to Orlando, wife included. Spent a week there as a family and my kids were so happy and it was so good to see them, wife included, happy. We returned home and my wife has not left the house and I did not ask her to leave. She wants to stay. The first night we got back, my 8-year-old asked me if mommy was staying and I said she was. She looked at me with the biggest smile and squeezed her fist and yelled yes. She then said, "Can she babysit us tomorrow?" And I said she is living here and she screamed yes again. It's only been a few days but she is a different kid. Everyone is different. I can't explain why I went this direction. It goes against all common sense. Ultimately, I made the decision. My wife is returning to being a mother again. I have been watching closely. She does love her children, it's clear. She said she has so much fear and guilt and shame to deal with. Has no idea why she did what she did. There is definitely something wrong there. I may never know. It's true, all of it, everything you all have read in my whole story. Will I ever be able to trust her? No. Will she do something crazy again? Yes, it may be years like it has been. Will I ever truly be happily married? No. Are my kids happy? Yes. What would you do for your kids? We are all a family again. Well, we have been back together for a week and she says she doesn't want to be married now. I'm really trapped. I can't leave because of kids. I don't trust her, but she says we can live together and have separate lives. How can this work? My kids think everything is fine, but this is no true. I guess there is too much damage in the past and here I'm heartbroken again. And what about my kids? Well, here we go again. She told me on Sunday she doesn't feel the same living in the house with me and didn't want to be married. So on Monday I really just didn't talk to her. Then Tuesday she said she was going to a therapist and said we should just be happily married because she was upset that I didn't talk to her on Monday. Then told me she was ready for the nut house. She went to a new therapist and hated her. She called me and asked me to meet her for drinks. I went and we had fun. Here she then tells me while we were separated, she was with another girl. What the hell? She said she really tapped in the head. I agreed. We went home and were intimate and it was nice. Next day different person and it's been that way since. I can't keep riding this roller coaster with her, and what is wrong with her? I don't understand her. I don't know what to do and I don't know whether I should plan to move on for the future. And what about the kids? I'm so distressed. And what is wrong with this woman? She seems to have really gone crazy, but why? Well, Sunday she tried to flee the family and left a note saying she hates herself and can't be a wife or a mother and she is not right in the head. She had packed her stuff. I took her to hospital and they sectioned her. She was acting really crazy. I stayed with her every day but she keeps pushing me away, although telling me she loves me. Then her friend texts me saying that I have been a meal ticket to her and she has wanted to leave me for a long time, which really hurt me. I'm back alone with kids now and still want to be a family with her. What the duck is the matter with me? She has been sectioned 3 times this year and put my children at risk, has repeatedly lied to me, endangered my kids, goes through my phone, steals my money, ruined my business before and now I'm probably going to ruin my new business cause I can't work taking care of kids, has cheated on me and I continue to try to make this work. Is it time to just call it quits? What am I doing to myself? I do believe it is time. I'm gathering the strength inside me and I know it's not going to be easier. Angel, I saw my counselor today and she said it's time to put wife aside and concentrate on the kids and the business. I have to start thinking in terms without her and to move on. The court order is still in place legally, so I don't have to let her in the home, but I don't want to be cruel. She has no family but her friend who is a bad influence she can stay with. So, in a nutshell, stealing, lying, cheating, endangering kids, dirty bag, lesbianism. She had an affair with girl after the guy I found out. 3 sections to hospital and 1 major X attempt. What do you think about this woman? I'm seeing dangerous waters ahead. If I keep trying to be with her, I've got to give up. I've got to. I need to let her go. Help. I just feel so rejected in life. 12 years with this person, many good times, 3 beautiful children. My wife has been in the hospital for 8 days now and they finally did it. Yes. Diagnosed her with severe bipolar disorder. I was reading on this and this is a pretty scary disease. At least now it explains all of this crazy behavior, but what for the future? Paranoia. Lying, wanted to X herself, crazy stuff with this disease. And what about the kids? What am I going to do? She is on 4 medications right now. I guess 50% of bipolar people don't think they have a problem and she is one of them. She wants to come home Tuesday and be a family again. And then I found out that her friend actually provoked the argument with me and then called my wife in hospital and said I was running off with the kids, so wife freaked out. A week later, I picked her up from the hospital on Tuesday and she was my old wife. She told me how much she loved me and was flirting and talked about how we would move away. She held my hand in the car and I was so happy. 4 hours later she began to decline and was never the same. Yesterday she said in front of my daughter's counselor that she feels toxic and cannot be a mother or deal with kids or anything. Then she went out with her friends last night and didn't get home until 2 a.m. What the hell? This morning I asked her to leave. She started blaming me for talking to her about how this bipolar disorder may hurt the kids. She then said that she sucks. She packed her stuff and left. I am here alone now with my 3 kids and heartbroken again, like you all said. For 4 hours that today I was so happy. Couple weeks later, a week after I threw my wife out, she begged to come home. She was desperate and virtually homeless. I allowed her to stay for a bit, but she quickly grew closer to the family unlike before and she seems to be returning to her old self. It seems like we are almost complete again. I cannot explain the events of the last 6 months, nor will I ever know. My kids are happy and, in the end, I guess that's all that matters. Am I happy? Not yet, but maybe someday. I'm trying to be a better husband, but I am a different person. Definitely more hardened. She is taking her medication and I will watch. I did find out she had contact with that loser who moved into my home just a month ago before she went into the hospital. But she still wasn't right then. Now she seems right, so I feel it's done with him. She is consistent now. Who knows what the future holds? Look what happened to me. 1 year later. 2 years ago, I went through hell with my wife. She had asked for a separation that nearly drove me to X myself, and then my story twisted into a virtual nightmare. It remains on this forum site if you would like to read. It is way too long and unbelievable to repeat here. Our marriage was done. We hated each other with a hatred. My days and nights were consumed with revenge at one point, but I had my children and had to care for them. She lost everything. I prevailed. Slowly over a short time I let her come home. Don't ask why, because I don't know. Maybe the kids. We slowly began to love each other again. I had realized I had not been a very good husband and was part to blame. But here, 2 years later, I still think about it every day and I'm having trouble letting those memories go. I still doubt my trust in her as well as times of hatred for what she did. Yet she has not done anything to violate that trust since. She says she loves me, does everything for me. She says she's happy, yet my mind remembers the war. She seems to have blocked it out. How can I be happy? How do I let go of the memories? We didn't divorce. I began all the proceedings and boy, these attorneys make a fortune. I had a great attorney. I paid my attorney $5,000 deposit. She finally got an attorney. He took $300 for a deposit. She took me to court 3 times trying to get the kids back but failed every time. Cost me $1,000 every time to go to court. One time the court security pulled me into a room until she was gone. They feared she would try to attack me after the ruling because she was flipping out. She is completely a different person. All that crap is over. She actually couldn't be doing any better. I often can't believe she did what she did. As an individual, I don't understand how someone can completely do such bizarre things, but I hear it all the time. One friend had told me how his wife became so obsessed with this actor she planned all this crazy stuff to go to Hollywood and try to make him fall in love with her. It seems women do this crazy fantasy crap and it bites them in the back. We are definitely doing fine. I had major surgery 4 weeks ago and I've been sitting around recovering. I wonder if this isn't helping, but I do know I think about it every day even before the surgery. It's just lately it's consuming me. It's funny that all the grief ends but your own mind plays games with you. My wife has been doing well and our marriage is virtually perfect. Maybe that's why I think about the craziness so much. It's hard to believe it even happened. I feel like it was maybe just a nightmare. One of those ones we all have, which we catch our lover cheating and wake up sweating. I do know I still spend time thinking of a way to teach that guy a lesson still, which is a big waste of time. He's so long gone. Sometimes I wonder if I'm second choice. Then I realize what a loser he was. We do still live across from the neighbor we don't talk to. The one who had told me he caught her at my business with one of my employees about 7 years ago. A goofy kid who was engaged to his girlfriend and they had just had a baby. She still denies it, but I wonder if it's because it's so pathetic she is embarrassed, but I'll always wonder about that. I've learned a lot about her after we reconciled. I realized these incidences were not for a need of bonding but of acceptance and emotion. Her self-esteem and anxiety disorders as well as bipolar episodes were not charged, which is always a man's biggest fear. I think women fear emotional betrayal more. Good God, if you saw these two clowns you would agree. I can't even feel like she found better and went back to me. The only explanation is they paid attention to her and she needed that because I wasn't doing it. I'm doing my part now and she is too. We kiss all the time, hug, laugh, and of course there is intimacy. Things we hadn't done in years. My comment, just when you think this is all over. I got a part 2 for this story. A lesson on what happens when you take them back. The critical lesson. Let me finish my breakfast, and part 2 will be uploaded shortly.